We have a really powerful Mercury story coming through in September 2023. And even despite that oft-dreaded Mercury retrograde thing that's going on, this is like a non-issue. It's fully powered up. It's in domicile, it's in exaltation in Virgo. It's like if you took all the kids from the Breakfast Club, that 80s movie, and you took all the best parts of their archetypes and you merged them into one person, took away all their self-doubt and all their issues or whatever, just the best parts of them. That's what you got with Mercury. That'd be a pretty awesome person, you know? Athletic, beautiful, edgy, smart, kind of a badass. That's what Mercury is right now. One of the coolest things that happens in September is the Mercury cazimi. That's when Mercury is in the heart of the sun. That's when they're on the same degree. It's September 6th, 2023. Remember I said the Breakfast Club kids all into one? Now imagine that all of those are multiplied by like 100 or 150 of them. They're all together and they're hanging out in a stadium. The other night we went to a football game, an away game, for our high school team, and the opposite team was like, whoa, I've never seen more enthusiasm in my life for a high school football team. And this is the kind of energy I'm talking about with exalted, domicile, Mercury, cazimi, and Virgo. Yeah. That'll be in your head for the rest of the day. Sorry about that. Because Mercury travels so close to the sun and it goes retrograde so often, we can have 6 or 7 cazimi or cazimis, I'm not sure what's the plural, in a year for Mercury. Now Mercury is retrograde for the first 2 weeks of September. It's part of the retrograde brigade right now with Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter just happened, Uranus, Neptune, they're all currently retrograde, and Chiron. And Venus just stationed, so she's very slow. She just stationed direct on September 3rd. So there's a lot of, slower energy going on, but Mercury is not really affected by this. Because it's at its maximum power, exalted and in domicile, top level energy, it's one with the power of the sun. The sun brings it up to another level. It gives it a very potent power to the topics of productivity, health and wellness, precision, details. It's just a purification of this mental ability or mental rigor that we can access for analysis, for processing. Look for a clarity of mind around this time, a really laser pointed, laser sharp precision. What are you here to do to help other people? That's a very big Virgo through line. How am I helpful to you? What can I do to help? You may be finding a way to heal yourself physically, or it could be about reaching a new level of excellence in some way that's relevant to you. The next time we're going to have a Mercury cazimi in Virgo is September 13th, 2025. So that's 2 years from now. We can be really mindful right now of what the power is. This Virgo exalted domicile Mercury cazimi. It could be important. And the messages coming through could be subtle or it could be really obvious. So keep an eye out for that. Looking into the Sabian symbology gives us another layer, another metaphor, another part of the story that we can add into our understanding. And for this one, it's Virgo 14, a family tree. This is the concept I want you to think about of roots. Here's what Burgess says. Leaders need to be faithful to the collective needs of those they lead, with on whom some level they share common roots. That's important. These roots are the very authority for leadership and the source of their strength. How important is that? Maybe a lot of us are thinking about how things are in our leadership systems and how are these roots really connected? Are we connecting anymore to our leadership through the roots that we have in common? Are they connecting that way? We also can think about deep roots that we're connected to through our ancestors. There's just a disconnect. There's a disconnect from our roots in general. And so thinking about that during this Mercury cazimi can be about how can we get back to our roots to be helpful? How can we focus on the health of systems in general? What can we do to bring some efficiency to the systems that we're a part of? So let's add another layer or two to this Mercury in September story, this magical goodness of September. And we'll find that just before the cazimi, Mercury made a trine to Jupiter as Jupiter was stationing retrograde. That's September 4th. What the heck does that even mean? Well, Jupiter represents prosperity, wisdom, philosophy, the bigger picture. It's optimism. And this energy is coming from a very earth-centered realm, very practical realm, Taurus. It's also very sensual. It's very tactile. And it's going up to Mercury in Virgo. Mercury is communication, it's ideas, it's the details, it's all the concepts, it's curiosity. It's finding the answers. And that's coming from Virgo. So it's looking deeply into the analysis of these ideas and thoughts. What it brings is an interflow of Mercury wanting curious communication, finding answers, and Jupiter takes those answers, takes that data that Mercury is so good at collecting, and Jupiter can make meaning of it. Jupiter can create a clear path of abundance for mental activities, which is Mercury. Some ideas that you need to complete. We're thinking about Virgo stuff, editing, just to enjoy the details of something, to see a bigger picture in the details of patterns, precision. I saw something just the other day. It was, oh man, I wish I could remember what it was called. I'll have to look it up. The somatic patterns generated by the human voice, all the vowel sounds, they can generate what that is in geometry. It's just bizarre. And then if you compare that to the art of the ancient and present cultures, and then looking down at the cross section of the helix of the DNA, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Looking at those details and being like, oh, seeing connections, stuff like that. Now that Jupiter or Mercury trine happens on September 4th, but guess what? Because of the Mercury retrograde, we're going to have it stationing and then going direct. And when it goes direct, it's going to hit that trine again with Jupiter. Jupiter is going to be going retrograde at that point full time because it's going retrograde in Taurus until December 31st, 2023. This will be a reunion of these two, the trine energy again. And because this bookmarks basically the whole month of September, a few days before September 4th, you're going to start feeling it, and a few days after September 25th. So basically the entire month of September is this opportunistic moment of the trine energy where you can take details and take them into a meaningful space. And it's going to move you forward. It's going to be very positive, optimistic thinking of this mindset. And by the end, there could be a super bloom in your mind of like, wow, this is broad-minded thinking that's available. It can increase your joy, discovery, curiosity. It's a really nice synthesis for ideas kind of moment. And we get two of those. So the overarching idea of September for 2023 is quite broad-minded. Now, sandwiched right in the middle of those two, we have something else happening, Mercury-based, and that's going to be the Mercury-ruled new moon in Virgo, and that's September 14th. This is happening just the day before Mercury goes direct. So Mercury's really, really slow. It's still a little bit retrograde, but it's going to be moving forward right after that. So it's a culmination moment of this Mercury retrograde. And it's likely a really good opportunity to dial into the thinking that you have about your learning goals. What do you want to learn? What are you curious about? What do you want to excel at? What do you want to be good at? Communication intentions. Maybe how do you want to clarify how you're talking to somebody in your life? Or maybe just finally tell them honestly what you feel. Like, hey, I need to talk to you. And this is what's going on with me. No offense. Get to the point where it's not personal. It's just like, here's what's going on with me. Here's what I need. What do you need? Let's really talk about it. Or it could even be some sort of analysis about what you need to understand on a very deep level. So that's what's going on with Mercury. I think it's important to look closely at certain planets to get the feeling. I mean, I'm in the slow astrology movement at this point pretty strongly. So looking at an overall idea is kind of interesting to me. I hope it's interesting to you. Just getting the flavor. Like thinking about one planet, thinking about Mercury. Mercury is a big player this month. Mercury's doing a lot. So I thought it might be interesting to look at them in a flow, in a story together. My biggest hope and my biggest desire is that what I do here is helpful on some level. And I do want to tell you, not only do I like you the way you are, but I am very, very honestly grateful for this time that we share together and this community, this communion that we have when we share this moment together. Okay, have a wonderful Mercury September. I'll talk to you next time.